Hello, good people of the internet. This is Jed from Your Guitar Academy. Today I'm going to be showing you one of my favorite blues licks from one of my favorite players, Mr. Albert King. So this phrase or this lick is taken from a live recording of Albert King live at the Fillmore East. It's on a song called Blues Power. So let's talk about what Albert King was playing and how he played. I think that's important for this. So he tuned his guitar down by 3 tones. So if we were playing an A blues, he'd be playing in the C position. So that enabled him to get some really large bends from, for example, if he was playing the minor third in a blues, he would bend from that up to the 5th. And then he's got all of those notes in between. So it gives it a specific sound, a distinctive sound. He was also using his thumb to play the strings. So, for example, if I'm playing with a pick and I hit a note, it's got a certain tone to it. Then if I try and play with my fingers and my thumb, so we're using skin to hit the string. Let me take the drive off, you might hear it better. I don't know if you can hear a difference, but there is there's an element added when you play with your fingers or the skin where it's kind of meatier, I guess. There's more tone there. So that's what he was doing. He used his thumb to play a lot of phrases. One thing with Albert King was he was playing with his guitar plugged straight into, I imagine, some kind of Fender amplifier. So he would probably have that thing turned right up. So he's playing with these high-end, frequencies and volumes, and also using the volume on his guitar to come down and get kind of a sweeter tone. So you can think about it as there being 2 levels of guitar sound. So if we've got an overdriven tone, and that's us turned up all the way on 10 on our guitar, the only thing we're going to manipulate is the volume knob on the guitar. So if we bring that down, maybe you could experiment. You could go to maybe 7 or 5. Let's go to 7 and see what that sounds like. So we've kind of taken something off the top there. So this is full volume. And then on 7, the same thing. And then on 5. As the volume comes down, the gain comes down as well. So if you want kind of a sweeter tone, you can bring that volume down. And naturally, you'll want to play softer. So whatever phrase or lick you're playing, you can play it a variety of ways using the volume knob. So for example, here's the lick. So we've got... So that's full volume. And then we can bring it down, let's say halfway to 5. Slight variation on the end there. And then if we bring it down even more, we can play it real soft. I think that's real sweet down there, that's nice. It's almost like there's no drive when you bring it down to 2 or 3. Cool. So we're going to be in this first minor pentatonic box shape in the key of G, and we're going to be dealing with just the B string and the top E string, so these 2 here. And what we're doing is sliding up from the 5th of the key. So we're on the 3rd fret, which is our D note on the B string, and we're going to use our middle finger to slide up to the 5th fret, and so that's up to an E. So that's the first part of this. And then we're going to land on the root note, which is going to be the 3rd fret on the top E string. So we go like this. So we're sliding up from D to E on the B string, then we're hitting G on the top E string. After that, we're going to use the same finger, so our index, to hit the note we started on. So that's a D on the B string. Now what you have to do there is you kind of have to do a little jump down from the top E string. Otherwise you'll get that note ringing out, which you don't want. It will sound like this if you do it incorrectly. So we don't want this. We just want... And the way to achieve that is your finger kind of hops over to the B string. And then we've got two notes after that. So from this third fret on the B string, we're going to use our ring finger to hit the sixth fret, which is a B flat, on the top E string. Now, this sounds a million times better if you slightly bend the string. And you'll make a face probably. And it sounds better when you make a face. If you don't make a face, it sounds like this. If you make a face, it's a million times better. So remember to make the guitar face. It's a key part to this lick. And then the last note, so after you've bent this note here on the sixth fret, we're going to land back on the root note, which is a G on the top E string. And you give that some vibrato. Now this phrase is great because you can play it anywhere in a 12 bar. I'll make a 12 bar loop and I'll use this lick in all areas of the progression. Cool, so there's our 12 bar blues. Now you can play this phrase going up to the 4. So landing right on that 4 chord when it changes. You can play it on the 1. You can play it on the 5. And then on the 4. So I had some variation at the end, but you can mess around with it. If you've got other licks that you can play afterwards or play before, you can do that. So let me play it going into the 4 chord. Cool. So you don't have to phrase it exactly the way I've been phrasing it, which is like this. Try and maybe elongate some of the notes. So let me get a looper again. So if we loop that 1 chord, so I'm going to experiment with the phrasing of the lick. And I'm doing that by elongating some of the note lengths. So it's hard not to play around and play other things. But I think that's fine. That's the nature of playing. You'll discover things, I think, if you do that. Don't feel that you need to just play that one phrase. Like, once you've got it under your fingers, just let your fingers fly and see where you go. You'll discover things that way. So if we do that again. In fact, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to let myself play. So I'm going to incorporate this lick with other licks that I know. So there was a slight variation there on the phrase that I've been teaching you. So I went something like, and there was a difference. So before ending the phrase or getting to that root note, right at the end of it, I transitioned into something else, which you can do. Or whatever, wherever your mind takes you. So you could take it down the octave So if we take the same notes, but we play it an octave down, you've got other things to play around with there. So you're in a different area of the neck. So I'll give some more examples of that. And then maybe play it real sweet. And you could experiment with using your fingers instead to get that authentic Albert King tone. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. We've got a whole selection of blues courses and other material if you're interested. That'll be in the links below. I'd be interested to know what you guys think about Albert King or other blues players that you like and the way they phrase things and how they phrase things and your thoughts. But yeah, cheers. Thanks very much.